And I'm gonna pause the video. See, it's the government. It's the government. They don't want y'all to know about Fred Hampton. They don't want y'all to know about Fred Hampton. But listen, like, we gonna talk about this. Everybody, like, be quiet, all right? Like, don't tell, don't. You know what I'm saying? Don't tell nobody. All right? Don't tell nobody. All right, class is in session. Everybody shut the fuck up.
December 4th, 1969. Akua Njeri was 19 years old and sleeping next to her fiancé, the Illinois Black Panther Party chairman, Fred Hampton.
The next thing I remember was someone in our room shaking Chairman Fred. Chairman, wake up, wake up. Plaster was flying off the wall. You could smell the cordite from the gunshot. If you've ever been under gunfire, 5 minutes is 5 hours. To you, it seems like forever. The shooting started back again. Then another voice unfamiliar to me said, "He's good and dead now." I knew they were talking about Chairman Fred.
That shit's crazy.
Fred Hampton was murdered by his government. But before that, he was a leader in a movement practicing a new kind of activism. A movement targeted because of its...
It's strike number 3, bro. Strike number 3. I'm about to not fucking stream until this shit get fixed. Like, I'm finna not stream until I get another freaking Wi-Fi. Because I'm not finna deal with this, bro. Got these fucking nut-ass freaking Wi-Fi extenders, bro. I'm finna throw them shits in a fucking garbage disposal, bro. Like, I can't get through a damn minute. I can't get through a damn minute, bro. We on strike 3, y'all. I can't, nigga say, get my box in a better location. I just fucking said I can't. Almost just said a mom joke. Almost.
60s, racial progress in the U.S.
I already said I can't move the damn box. I can't move the damn box.
Activists won major civil rights victories, and the era of Jim Crow laws came to an end. But at the end of the decade, there were still deep social and economic gaps for Black people across the country. Black Americans continued to face
Wi-Fi travels
poverty,
up, Trey.
poor
Yo,
housing,
shit upstairs.
and
It's not traveling down,
and they
dumbass.
still had little.
This nigga fucking Oppenheimer. This nigga smart. You niggas shut the fuck up! This nigga thought he just fucking discovered the fucking quantum nuclear fucking theory. No shit! Dumbass. Shut the... It's the dumbass part. That's the shit that just set... All right, let's get bitch, nigga, fuck. All right, let's. All right, bro, this is class. This is class. We getting distracted. We getting off track. Let's start this. Let's just bring it back just a little bit. Getting off track, y'all. All right.
To face high poverty, poor housing, and unemployment, and they still had little to no political representation. These disparities and an increase in brutal police violence led to uprisings across the country. Many young Black activists grew frustrated that the changes they'd hoped for hadn't come.
It's just the opposite of being a white man. That's about the best I can brevet that fire.
After the police killing of an unarmed black teen in San Francisco, two activists in Oakland, California, Bobby Seale and Huey P. Newton, founded what was initially called the Black Panther Party for Self-Defense. Newton had studied law.
Nobody ever
and
says
knew
the
it was
self-defense
legal
part.
to carry arms in California as long as they were not concealed. The Panthers began to patrol their communities. As the movement grew, several highly publicized confrontations with police would bring about mainstream awareness of the Black Panther Party. The allegations in these confrontations were serious, but the public accounts of them were typically one-sided and shaped largely by police. Media coverage depicted party members as a caricature of black militancy.
The Black Panther Party was portrayed as a marauding gang. They say their goal was to kill all the white people.
In reality, the Panthers did call for radical change.
What they were hoping for was a revolution to overthrow the capitalist enterprise.
But what they called revolution might not actually sound so radical today.
Focused on socialism as a way of solving.
See, this why I was kind of fucking with Killmonger
which
and Black
always had
Panther.
a democratic political system, but the economic system has always been socialism. So they want a democratic socialist country here in the United States, which they saw as a more equitable, more humane system.
They released a 10-point plan for broad social reform that called for an end to police brutality and for black employment, housing, education, and freedom from prison and jails. Chapters began forming across the country. They started to implement social programs, which they called survival programs.
The Panthers would say, put that theory into practice. If you really want to change minds, if you really want to meet the people where they are, you have to give them the services which they need.
The programs included food and clothing drives, free health clinics, and sickle cell disease testing, and were funded largely by volunteers and donations from businesses. One of their biggest programs was a free breakfast for children initiative.
Here we are living in 1966, 67, is the most wealthy nation in the world. And kids were going to school hungry, especially in African-American communities. So one of the first community service programs were free breakfast for school children.
And all the children had to do was come.
It was during this time that Akua and Jerry, then known as Deborah Johnson, met Fred Hampton.
I was a student at Wright City College, and Chairman Fred had come up to the school to speak. And he said, at the breakfast program, we feeding over 3,000 children a week. We're serious about making power to the people of reality. We're not just sitting up here jaw-jabbing and talking shit, you know. We about work. And I said, damn.
Good job, class. Y'all niggas paying attention.
Fred
Yeah.
Hampton grew up in Maywood,
Yeah.
Illinois, just west of downtown Chicago.
Sorry for the interruptions, you know.
He
There's
became
a couple
president
niggas,
of his
man.
local NAACP Youth Council in 1967, at 19 years old. Shortly after, he was recruited by a founder of the Illinois chapter of the Black Panther Party.
That you can jail a revolutionary, but you can't jail a revolution. Right.
Because of his charismatic skills, he quickly rise to the top of the crop.
Here he is at age 21.
Damn,
building
21.
and leading the Illinois chapter Black Panther Party.
Soon after they met, and Jerry and Hampton became a couple.
Anybody that has met him or heard him speak, they say he wasn't bullshit. He was for real.
You have to understand, the people have to pay the price for peace. If you dare to struggle, you dare to win. If you dare not to struggle, then goddamn it, you don't deserve to win. Let me say peace to you if you're willing to fight for it.
Chicago in particular was a place where the party's ideals especially resonated. It was then the second largest American city, and due to decades of discriminatory policies, also one of the most segregated. Chicago's mayor at the time, Richard J. Daley, opposed neighborhood
Damn.
integration.
That nigga could have died at
And
21,
in the
bro.
1950s, the city had begun to redevelop
Bro,
certain
let me just pause it just so I don't be talking over it. Bro, I'm not gonna lie, people back in the day, bro, they used to like, bro, imagine a 21-year-old now compared to 21-year-olds back then. They was living grown lives. Like, this nigga was 21 and his girlfriend was 19. Like, they both was like young And the fact they had to go through all this shit, that's crazy as hell.
Certain neighborhoods, pushing low-income residents out and into densely packed, high-rise public housing in already overcrowded neighborhoods. Black people were pushed primarily to the south and west side of Chicago. A large Puerto Rican population was here in Lincoln Park, and poor white people were concentrated here in Uptown. These groups all faced similar problems.
Can't use the restroom? Hurry up, hurry up.
They all had...
Hurry up, we're not pausing it for you.
They're
Hurry
all
up.
being drafted into Vietnam. Very few of those communities...
Go, nigga!
In 1969, Hampton led the Panthers towards an unexpected alliance, a coalition of activists working across racial lines against a corrupt city government that threatened their communities.
We're going to fight racism, not racism, but we're going to fight with solidarity.
What they had in common was their poverty. So they was building a revolution based on class solidarity that transcends race, that they all had the same hell to pay.
Hampton named the group the Rainbow Coalition. It included the Black Panthers, a Puerto Rican group called the Young Lords, and a group called the Young Patriots, made up of largely poor white migrants from Appalachia who had moved to Chicago seeking economic opportunity.
We don't hate the motherfucking white people, we hate the oppressor, whether he be white, black, brown, or yellow. So we got to know that.
I don't mean sing Kumbaya and make a quilt. I'm talking about bringing them together on common things they could unite on. Not everything, but who could say that children do not deserve to have a healthy meal?
We work with anybody and form coalition with anybody that has revolution on their mind. We're not a racist organization because we understand that racism is an excuse used for capitalism.
Hampton and other Panthers helped
Yeah,
the
he was
Young
talking that
Lords
shit.
and Young Patriots launch their own social programs. They organized protests together. And it was working. Members were traveling across the country to organize Rainbow Coalition chapters.
Particularly where Black Panther chapters were, but also in these rural white communities as well, to bring the revolution to bear. This blows people's minds. These people are not supposed to get along, but here they are operating as brothers of the struggles, as revolutionaries against the capitalist structure. And that was...
See, that's what I was talking about, class. That's what I'm talking about. This nigga, I'm sorry, this black king was bringing people together. Why you think people don't want to talk about him? Why you think the classes don't really want to teach Fred Hampton? This was somebody that was in the Black Panthers, something that America tried to call so violent, tried to call a bunch of thugs. He was trying to bring people from every race together to fight the common goal, the oppressors in the U.S. government. With a bunch of low-class people and brought them together, and it was gaining real power. That's what they don't want. They don't want us to come together. They want us to fight over dumb shit. That's why every time a black person rob a white person, it's on the news. Every time a white person shoot a black person, it's on the news. They want us to fight against each other. They don't want us to come together. And that was the problem, what was going on with Fred Hampton. You see, class? Let's get back into it.
was the threat to the state at the local level, but also at the national level.
In 1968, the FBI had sent around this internal memo. It outlined goals to prevent the coalition of militant black nationalist groups and prevent the rise of a messiah who could unify and electrify the militant black nationalist movement. It wasn't written about Hampton specifically, but by 1969,
Chairman Fred Hampton was the one that fit the bill.
The revolution was in the air. And the ways in which the Panthers was able to transcend those racial lines, especially the charismatic leadership of one like Fred Hampton, they saw him as a greater threat even than Martin Luther King or Malcolm X ever was.
in one FBI memo about the Black Panthers' breakfast program, they claimed their real purpose was to poison minds with anti-white propaganda and indoctrinate youngsters in hate and violence.
The FBI, under the leadership of J. Edgar Hoover, had deemed the Black Panther Party as the #1 threat to the internal security of this country.
The FBI operated a counterintelligence program called COINTELPRO. It was a program that targeted dissident political groups in the U.S. Their methods typically went outside the law.
They were using tactics such as assassination, discrediting, false narratives. They were falsely putting people in prison and exile, which were all illegal.
Several Black Panthers were killed or imprisoned, including the party co-founders. In Chicago, the party was also targeted by Mayor Daley and the Chicago police.
Our office was burned down at least 3 times. People would disappear. You never see their bodies again.
Before you go to bed tonight, say I am a revolutionary. Make that the last word. In case you don't wake up, then somebody might believe it and you might, end up in what they call a revolutionary happy hunting grounds.
Hampton, a rising star at just 21 years old, knew he was a target too. He'd been arrested in 1968 for allegedly robbing an ice cream truck and handing out $71 of ice cream. In 1969, he was sentenced to 2 to 5 years in prison. He appealed and was released on bond, but lost the appeal. He'd have to return to prison by December 6th.
Lays are made from real potatoes from over 100 farms.
Ad block. Shut the fuck.
There's one here.
Ad block.
And here.
Ad block.
Stay back, kids. They're doing another map commercial for Lay's.
From real potatoes grown closer than you think.
Lay's, stay golden.
On December 4th, around 4 a.m., 14 Chicago police officers arrived outside Hampton's apartment on Chicago's west side. Inside, Hampton and Jerry and 7 other Panthers were asleep.
I was very pregnant, and the first thing I remember was Chairman Fred had fell asleep while talking on the phone. The next thing I remember was someone in our room
started shaking the chair.
Said, Chairman, wake up, the pigs are vamping. And I'm seeing Chairman Fred look up, and then he laid his head back down real slow.
Officers kicked open the door and shot Mark Clark, a visitor from another party chapter. They shot a sleeping 18-year-old named Brenda Harris. Then they shot in the direction of Hampton's bed.
Mattress is just going, you can feel the bullets going into it.
I had moved over on top of Chairman Fred because there was shooting into our mattress. The person that had come into the room kept shouting, stop shooting, we have a pregnant sister in here. Eventually, the shooting stopped.
And Jerry was forced into the kitchen when she heard another voice.
Someone said he's barely alive.
He'll barely make it. I assume they were talking about Chairman Fred. Pig said, he's good and dead now.
As they took me out and jammed a revolver to my stomach as I was handcuffed behind my back, I didn't look towards our bedroom because I didn't know what I would see or how I would respond.
The police fired nearly 100 shots. Fred
100
Hampton
fucking shots.
and Mark Clark were dead. The 7 surviving Panthers were arrested. And police smiled as they removed Hampton's body from the scene.
Ah, man. Go to that dumb shit, man. Fuck. All right, listen, bro. Listen. Here's before anybody say the dumb shit, my nigga. Here's before anybody say the dumb shit. I said my shit is fucked up. I told you niggas my shit is fucked up. But can you bring the router closer? I told you niggas my situation. I told you niggas my situation. I told y'all my situation. Hey Trey, can you fix your Wi-Fi? Bro, I told you niggas my situation. You better calm down. Go to the principal's office. Go to the principal's office. Go to the principal's office. I told y'all niggas my situation. Alright? I know it's fucked up. If you don't feel like dealing with it being fucked up, leave. I don't feel like dealing with it being fucked up. We ain't with this live ain't gonna be that long. I know. But I'm trying to hold on as long as I can. Professor Trey, can we get a substitute? Can you substitute these nuts? 5 minutes. Now listen, bro. Listen. I can't do shit about it. All right? Now, you just seen 2 niggas get sent to the principal office. Know what I'm saying? You just seen 2 of them. 2 of them had to go. They'll be back in 5 minutes. They'll be back. They're not banned. But like, it's fucked up. I know, guys. But y'all gotta stick through it. All right, now are y'all ready to finish class, man? Are y'all ready to finish class? Cause we almost over. We like right at the end. Y'all ready to finish this class, man? Let's get to it. Hopefully they don't stop it again. But what do you do?
The Chicago police and the state's attorney's office quickly shaped the narrative to call it a gunfight, a battle, and a shootout.
Officers involved in the raid testified that they were fired on from 4 different rooms in the apartment by shotgun.
Before I could get past the threshold, there were 3 shots fired from the rear bedroom.
They played back a story that you could not even fathom. They gave a fictional account of what happened. Again, vilifying the Black Panther Party.
I mean, they were firing at police.
Yes, sir. We saw the shots coming out of the 2 bedrooms.
This attack by the Black Panthers on the police clearly demonstrates the true character of the Black Panther Party.
But experts and lawyers hired by the Panthers, along with other journalists, inspected the crime scene. The Panthers even opened the apartment so that anyone could examine it. And a drastically different picture emerged. It was clear that the police had fired unprovoked. Of the nearly 100 shots fired, only 1 possible shot could have come from a Panther's gun, likely from Mark Clark at the front door. The bullet holes that the police said came from Black Panthers were nail heads. Later, it also emerged that the FBI had assisted Chicago police with the raid. The FBI had an informant within the Black Panther Party named William O'Neill.
Snitch, dog. Snitch ass nigga. Damn it, bro. Snitch, nigga. That's that shit I don't want. This nigga had this. It's just one. Saya, what the I'm just not really getting it. It's just snitch niggas, bro. Snitch fucking niggas.
Who had become chief of security and Hampton's bodyguard. O'Neill had provided the FBI with a hand-drawn floor plan of the apartment, which the FBI then gave to Chicago police. And evidence strongly suggests that before the raid, O'Neill
I don't know, Saya. I don't fucking know.
O'Neill had drugged Hampton.
Yeah, he drugged him
too. In the years after Hampton's assassination, the police and the FBI continued to imprison dozens of party members across the country. The official Black Panther Party would continue to exist until 1982, but membership decreased dramatically, and it would never be the same.
And I hope that each one of you will be able to die in the international proletarian revolutionary struggle, or even be able to live in it. And I think that struggle is going to come. Why don't you live for the people? Why don't you struggle for the people? Why don't you die for the people?
Fred Hampton wanted revolution. Those in power wanted to destroy him and what he stood for. But they weren't totally successful.
Chairman Fred lives. You know what I'm saying? Through the military. What
happened? What the fuck happened to us, bro? This country fucked us up, man.
They weren't totally successful. Look at us, bro. Look at us.
Look at us. Look at us. Look at us. Look at us. Look at us. Look at us. Look at us. Look at us. Look at us. Look at us. Look at us. Look at us. Look at us. Look at us. Look at us. Look at us. Look at us. Look at us. Look at us. Look at us. Look at us. Look at us. Look at us. Look at us. Look at us. Look at us. Look at us. Look at us. Look at us. Look at us. Look at us. Look at us. Look at us. Look at us. Look at us. Look at us. Look at us. Look at us. Look at us. Look at us. Look at us. Look at us. Look at us. Look at us. Look at us. Look at us. Look at us. Look at us. Look at us. Look at us. Look at us. Look at us. Look at us. Look at us. Look at us. Look at us. Look at us, man. You won't never see no shit like this today. You will never see this amount of natural hair from all of us, the men and the women. You will never see no shit like this, man. They really just fucked everything up, bro. They try to teach us that all this shit is ugly. And now it's just in all of our heads now. Even if it's a subconscious. Even if women say, no, I like my hair. But they will never leave the house like this again. That's the first way to kill us as people. Attack our motherfucking self-image, the way that we look at ourselves. You will never see this shit again. That shit is sad.
Chairman Fred lives. You know what I'm saying? Through the military assault, through the destruction of the party as an organization itself, by the state, the legacy of the party is still here.
Today, the work of Fred Hampton is alive through some of the same programs that marked him as a threat.
Many of the programs that the Panthers created are now staples of our society. We didn't have free breakfast in schools prior to the Black Panther Party's free breakfast program. Those free clinics, almost every major college campus got a free legal aid clinic. The ways in which sickle cell testing is now respected as a disease by the CDC and others. None of that stuff existed before the party. I think that's revolutionary.
The history of the Black Panther Party is going toe-to-toe with this government will never die. Never die.
That's class, y'all. That's class.
Thanks for watching this video. If you want to learn more about Fred Hampton, there's an amazing 1970s.
See, bro, it's shit like that. It's shit like that just make me so mad. R.I.P. Fred Hampton. R.I.P. in the chat, man. R.I.P. in the chat. This is shit that teachers should be teaching about. But they don't. You know what I'm saying? They don't want to teach this shit. I remember when I made a skit about Dr. Martin Luther King, and niggas took that skit as if I hate Dr. Martin Luther King. Which I gotta get about content creators, bro. Especially skit creators. When we make skits, we're playing characters. The title of the skit is how black people today would act at a Martin Luther King rally. First of all, it's all comedy. Appreciate the gifted. It's all comedy. So when I play a character, it's not always my thoughts. I'm playing a character to show how black people today, just because black people was in a different mindset today, of how they would react to the Martin Luther King skit. Y'all know the skit I'm talking about? The Martin Luther King skit that I did about how black people would react if black people today would react if they had to be in them rallies back then. Because it's a different world today. Black people who came up with different type freedoms and stuff, they would never allow the same stuff. But yeah, people really thought I hated Dr. Martin Luther King because I made that skit. First of all, no. People just don't know how to read between the lines and read that I'm playing a character and I'm portraying how the character think. Not all the time about how I think. And the truth about Martin Luther King is that, when you want to know why white people and the school system and the news, everybody want to talk about Martin Luther King. Everybody want to talk about Martin Luther King. He's the most popular out of Malcolm X. Everybody. Because they trying to weaponize Martin Luther King's message. They're trying to weaponize his message because they think, back then when Martin Luther King was alive, this nigga, he was getting arrested. He was getting arrested all the time. He was called a thug in the newspapers. In the news, they was calling him a thug. They were saying that he was disrupting society. They were saying that he was anti-white and all types of stuff. That's the type of stuff. That was the news. But ever since he died, all of a sudden they love him because now they can twist his message and try to make us seem weak. That's what they want to do. They want to twist Martin Luther King's message of nonviolence and make it seem like he just wanted us to just always be nonviolent to every single act against us. And that's why they love him so much. That's why they don't want to talk about Fred Hampton. That's why they don't want to talk about the Black Panther Party. That's why they don't really want to talk about Malcolm X either. The only time they talk about Malcolm X is when they say happy birthday. But that's the only reason Martin Luther King is so popular today is because white people and the government, they just want to push it on us to try to make us docile. They want to make us not fight back and stuff. That's why when I was seeing like the riots and shit after like 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 black people was getting killed by the cops and stuff, and there was a bunch of riots. Now I don't really agree with the like. I mean, I don't really see how stealing bag of chips and shit do like that. But for the people that call themselves patriots and shit like that, people that call themselves patriots and that got the flags and they wear it on their back and stuff like that, and they just judging all the riots like this is not how it's supposed to be. This is not how you fight for anything. This how America fought for everything. Don't like, they just don't like when black people do it. They just don't like when black people do it. That's like, they just don't want to be real about it. But black people aren't the first people to riot. Black people aren't the first people to riot. How do you think this became America? You thought that happened peacefully? All this shit is a motherfucking riot. All this shit starts with an uprising. All these changes most changes started violently. But when it's black people doing it, they don't want black people to get violent. What y'all think George Washington was doing, bro? Nigga was on a boat with a sword. You think he did that shit peacefully? But this is America, right? This is America. This is the shit that America is built on. America is built on violence. They just don't like when we do this shit. They don't like when we break the buildings. So I just be finding that ironic. Like when black people, like I had said before, I'm like, black people, we the only people we the only race of people that's told to get over shit. We the only race of people that's told to get over shit. We gotta get over slavery. We gotta get over the Jim Crow. We gotta get over everything. We gotta get over the police brutality. We just gotta get over it all. I have never seen nobody tell a Jewish person today to get over the Holocaust. You will never see nothing like that. You will never see nothing like that. We the only people that's supposed to just, hey bro, just calm down, bro. It's not that deep. We the only people that's supposed to be kumbaya. Hey man. That's the end of class, bro. That's the end of class. I just had to get that off my chest.